Welcome to tonight's class, and we are tonight studying Parashat Vayetchanan, and we're studying the holy words of Rav Shimshon Pincus. Tonight, we are going to explore a very, very powerful tool that we have and that we can use and could be very effective if used properly. You see, in this week's Torah portion, we are reminded of Moshe Rabbeinu's lifelong goal and dream, and that was to enter the land of Israel. And after he hit the rock, instead of speaking to it, Hashem told him that he and Aaron would not enter the land of Israel. Again, high level, so very, very stringent and strong judgment. He told them that they were not able to enter the land of Israel. And like most people, Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't happy that he was being denied access. I mean, what type of human being or what type of Jew appreciates being denied access? So Moshe Rabbeinu also was like that. He was not going along with this. He does something very interesting. He prays, but he doesn't pray once or request it once. He prays many times, over and over and over, and he's pleading to Hashem. Take a look at your screen. Deuteronomy chapter 3, verse 23, the beginning of this week's Torah portion. It says, Vayetchanan el Hashem ba'et hahi lemor. I entreated the Lord at that time, saying. This word Vayetchanan has many different ways we can translate it and understand it. We're going to see in a moment a couple different interpretations how we can translate that word. It literally means that he came and he pleaded to God at that time, like a supplication. And the numerical value, our sages tell us, of this word is 515, corresponding to the amount of times Moshe Rabbeinu prayed requesting God to enter the land of Israel. Now, it's funny, I realized something for the first time this year. It's not like Moshe Rabbeinu was praying 515 times over 40 years to enter the land of Israel. No, this was in less than a year, in a matter of months, since Moshe Rabbeinu knew that he would not be able to enter the land of Israel, and he prayed 515 times. Now, this was not like 550, like, please Hashem, please Hashem, please Hashem. No. This was like 515 ways that Moshe Rabbeinu prayed to Hashem. Each one was a different type of delivery, with a new thought, a new rationale, a new way to try to convince God to let him in. And from here we learn the proper way, explains Rav Pincus, to pray. That we have to, for whatever it may be, health, livelihood, children, guidance, advice, help, strength, whatever it may be. It is not enough to pray once for something. If a person sees that they have not been answered yet, they have to pray over and over again and cannot stop asking until, as if to say, Hashem is kind of forced to answer the request. Moshe Rabbeinu prayed differently every single time. Different terminologies, different reasons to be allowed to enter the land of Israel. He learned this from Isaac, Yitzhak Avinu, who, when he found out or when he realized he did not have children right away, he prayed over and over until nonstop, until Hashem answered him and gave him and Rivka twins. We find the same idea by Chana. Chana prayed over and over for years until she was blessed with Shmuel. Because she did not pray once and said, okay, that's it, it's coming. No. Over and over and over. Rabbi says it's like a child who asks his father for something and the answer is no. But guess what? That child's no different than your own child. He's persistent. And he's asking over and over and explains new ideas, why his father should allow him or grant him his wish. As parents, we all know that eventually we're going to crack and give in. It's a question of how long. How much can we hold out? Pincus says he's going to tell you a little secret. God's the same way. if Hashem doesn't stop asking, eventually Hashem will say yes. There is, however, something dangerous about this. Since being persistent in prayer is so powerful and effective, a person may be granted something from Hashem that may not be the best thing for them. Now, let me explain what that means. We, human beings, we have very little, if any, understanding of the world we live in, or the lives of others, our own lives, and what's good and bad for us. We live in the now. We see nothing more than right now. We don't see the grand picture. Hashem ever created us and the world we live in and the entire universe and every single thing and person inside it. A person sometimes asks and wants an abundance of wealth, but that may not be the best thing for the person. It could possibly lead him or her to their defeat, to sin, to something more hurtful and painful. Some people ask for immense wisdom. That also might not be the right thing for them. And the list goes on and on and on. Any single request we have or need from Hashem, who knows if it's right for us or not? We don't have any clue, but Hashem does. Hashem sees the big picture. Rav Pincus says, the way to not over ask or be overly persistent with Hashem for something we're asking is to make sure that we include in our prayers that Hashem, whatever you give us, may it be for our own good. Please, Hashem, provide me with enough livelihood that's good for us, that'll not allow me to be so worried, but also not too much, because too much could get me ungrounded or too arrogant or disconnected from Hashem, God forbid. The same thing is with health, strength, different abilities, wisdom. We always have to ask Hashem be persistent, ask and ask and ask and ask. But part of the asking, ask Hashem to only grant it to you if it's for your good. Sometimes people want to marry a certain person and they're over and over and over praying and praying and praying and asking and asking. Who knows if it's good? You have to say, Hashem, make me meet the right person. Not just make me meet the person, make me meet the right person. Same thing as with taking a job, moving somewhere, or doing something, buying something, selling something. You pray to Hashem that it will come, but that it will come and that it will be essentially good for us, that it won't destroy. We learn this from Moshe Rabbeinu. How do we learn this from Moshe Rabbeinu? At a certain point, after 515 delivered prayers, different prayers, Hashem tells him, stop. You may not pray for this matter anymore. Why? Because Hashem would have had to give it to him, and it would have not been good if Hashem would have said yes to Moshe and granted him access to the land of Israel. As we know, why? Because then he would have built the temple, and then Hashem, because of Moses' high level, could not have allowed our enemies to destroy the temple as a punishment for us. He would have had to destroy the Jewish people, not the temple. Hashem knew this, and therefore he told Moshe Rabbeinu, stop! At 515, it's the limit. 516, I have to say yes, and believe me, it's not good for you, believe me. It's so hard for us sometimes. But that's lesson number one. I have 3 lessons. Pincus has 3 lessons. Lesson number 1 is be persistent in prayers. But make sure you add that it's for your own good. The grand picture, Hashem, please, please, please make sure it's for our own good. Next. The Midrash tells us how Moshe Rabbeinu was praying many, many times to be allowed into the land of Israel. And when he was doing that, the entire heavens and earth were trembling. Hashem had to command all the angels, all the gatekeepers of the heavens to not accept Moshe Rabbeinu's prayers. Basically, the Midrash stressed at great length the tremendous power Moshe Rabbeinu's prayers had and how it literally shook the entire world. Rabbi Pincus says, we think of how great Moshe Rabbeinu's prayers are, as we just mentioned from this Midrash. We should also be reminded of some very important concept the Zohar tells us. The Zohar tells us the following, that there are three people King David writes about who has an extraordinary power of prayer. Number one is Moshe Rabbeinu. Makes sense. Number two is himself, King David. Number three is an ani, a poor person. Meaning, Rabbi Pincus explains, there's no man who was able to pray at the level of Moshe Rabbeinu. And there was no king that was as powerful as a prayer as King David. But out of all three, explains the Zohar, the poor person's prayer is the most special to God and the most powerful and effective. More than Moshe Rabbeinu, more than King David. Why? Because a poor person is coming to Hashem with a broken heart. As King David says, Karov Hashem lenishbere lev. Hashem is very close to those who have a broken heart. Hashem hears the words and the pleas. He opens all the skies for a direct prayer delivery answer by God. Moshe Rabbeinu's prayer shook up the entire world. But the Zohar says that a poor person's prayer is more powerful because his heart broken, his helplessness, when he knows where to direct his prayer to, he's got nowhere else to turn to, Hashem will ultimately grant this person his wishes. From here, Rav Pincus says, we learn how important it is to, number one, never hurt or insult a poor person. Because God forbid you would never want them to wish you ill or pray to Hashem against you, because Hashem will listen to them quickly. And also, very importantly, the greatest mind frame and mode we can have while we approach God in our prayers, we can answer, we can ask him anything and hopefully be answered, is, besides for being persistent, but number two, coming as a poor person to Hashem, coming as lacking, coming as helpless when requesting from Hashem, not feeling entitled that of course Hashem has to give it to us and grant it to us, rather coming from a place of helplessness, a broken heart. That would be the correct way to have the greatest success in having our prayers answered. So number one is being persistent in prayer over and over and over, and making sure that asking Hashem that it's only for our own good. Number two, it's praying like a poor person out of desperation and with a broken heart. Now here's the third concept. The first word in this week's Torah portion, as we started off, Vayetchanan, literally means Moshe pleaded to Hashem, and the word Vayetchanan comes from the terms of tachanun or tachanunim, supplications, teaching that whenever a person prays, they need to plead to Hashem, beg to Hashem. And the truth is this is found in the Mishnah. The Mishnah explains this way in Pirkei Avot, 2nd chapter, that a person should never have their prayers fixed and on autopilot. Rather, we need to be pleading and requesting from Hashem for whatever comes up. The Shulchan Aruch also codifies this in halacha and writes a person should not pray too quickly, just to finish and be acquitted from his obligation of prayer. Rather, plead to Hashem. And the Mishnah Brura on that explains, and he writes, that it isn't enough to use words of pleading as we have in our prayer books and our Sidurim, but one needs to feel that they are coming to make a request in front of the king. If you feel like you're coming in front of the king and coming and requesting, that's how you fulfill your mitzvah of prayer. So Rav Pincus says there's a famous midrash. It's a fascinating one. The midrash describes how when Moshe Rabbeinu requested from Hashem to enter the land of Israel, he asked him it in merit of all of his Torah that he's learned and taught Moshe Rabbeinu, which he deserves reward for. But now look at this midrash, and this midrash could easily shed a new light on the meaning of the word va'et chanan. Look at this. When Moshe Rabbeinu, says the midrash, ascended Mount Sinai, when he received the tablets, when he was up on high, Hashem showed him, in Hebrew the word is otzarot. Let's just call them treasure chests, spiritual treasure chests, full of abundance and good and blessing. And Moshe Rabbeinu asked, who are those for? Hashem says, those are for the people who toil in Torah study. This is their merit. He looks some more and he says, who are those for? Those treasure chests. Hashem says, oh, those are for people who do deeds and acts of loving kindness. And then Moshe Rabbeinu looks and he sees treasure chests larger and greater than all the others. And he says, Hashem, who are those for? Hashem says, Moshe Rabbeinu, those are not for people who've toiled in Torah or did any good deeds or did anything for that matter. Those I have reserved to give out for free, at will. So what's this midrash telling us? The midrash is telling us that Hashem has specific merits for people for doing good things. But the greatest of the treasure chests Hashem has reserved up in Shamayim is literally free gifts. Now, the midrash says 40 years later, 40 years after he was up there, Moshe Rabbeinu, he asks Hashem, let me into the land of Israel for the sake and the merit and reward of all the Torah I taught your people, which we can all imagine and agree that has no greater merit. You know what Hashem tells him? Hashem tells him, no. So what did Moshe Rabbeinu say? He says, you know what? Why can't you grant me access into the land of Israel, say yes, and take the merit for you saying yes from that big treasure chest of the free gifts? You know what Hashem answers him? Hashem says, as the saying goes, it's better to bring a snake into your house than a person with eyes into your house. Meaning, Hashem saying, if I wouldn't have showed you that great, large treasure chest, the free gift one, you would have never have even asked for it. But now that you saw it, now you're trying to ask in that merit. Moshe Rabbeinu learned an amazing thing based on this midrash when he was up with Hashem at Mount Sinai. That indeed one who does good and great things does receive merit, and there's treasures for that. But there are some who receive more and even greater merit. Who are those? They didn't do anything special for it. Rather, it's one who understands that they have no merit, even if they did great things. Because when one understands the only reason why they receive anything from Hashem is only because it's a gift from God, out of his mercy, his compassion, his love for us, then they're receiving that gift at the highest of levels. Because face it, no matter how great we do, no matter what we do, what level is it already? How much merit do we? Is it l'shem shamayim, for the sake of Hashem? Is it done properly? Who knows? When a person is coming from a fact like Hashem, I did A, B, and C, now give me X, Y, Z, that's low level. High level is coming to Hashem and realizing, Hashem, I don't know anything. I don't deserve anything. But can I have a free gift? Just because you're my Abba? You're my father. You're my king. Could you please? It's a powerful request. It is very, very powerful. It's strong. It's why Hashem had to tell Moshe Rabbeinu, stop! You're like getting into the secrets of prayer already. I'm going to have to say yes. A person who comes from a place and asking Hashem, give me a free gift, give me an undeserving gift, because they understand no matter how hard they try, they're really undeserving, genuinely. Because if we rely on our own merits, what do we have already? That's what Va'et Chanan means. Va'et Chanan means pleading for an undeserving gift from Hashem. Matinat Chinam. Like Va'et Chanan, Matinat Chinam, a free gift. That'll be a way to have Hashem inclined to say yes. So I want to review these three concepts from Pincus. Number one, we learned from Moshe Rabbeinu how important it is to be persistent in prayer and pray over and over and over. And to add in there, please Hashem, only grant it to us if it's for our own good. Second is we have to pray like a poor person out of desperation and with a broken heart. Because we know that that's our only address. Hashem's our only address. And number three, we need to plead and beg for a free, undeserving gift from Hashem. And not out of our own merits. Because our own merits are limited and flawed. Hashem's free gift to us is the highest level, the greatest power, the greatest treasure chest up in Shamayim. And when we come to him and we say, Hashem, we're nothing, it's out of humility. Hashem, we're nothing, we're so low. Please grant it to us. That's where our greatest success and effectiveness in prayer may come from. Persistent prayer, praying like a poor person, and pleading for a free gift. So that Hashem will bless us, that we will effectively pray, connecting to Hashem. Prayer is a tremendous gift Hashem gave us because it gives us the opportunity to speak to Hashem, to build a relationship. The more you speak to someone and request from someone and learn from someone's ultimate, infinite wisdom, the more we can be connected to Hashem. That's what Hashem wants. Hashem wants us to be connected to him because when we're connected to him, that is the way we will be the most successful in our lives.